Eccezionale.
I'm seeing the fog setting in over La Mora.
Is the chicken burning?
No. Good one. Welcome to our casa, and today we're making pollo arrosto. But before we get started, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for notifications on future videos. Pollo arrosto simply means roast chicken, and it's one of my favorite things to make when it's starting to get a little chillier outside. It is very simple, so let's get started. Last night we took our chicken, cleaned it off, dried it off, and trimmed all of the excess skin, and we did trim the tail as well. Now you can do a wet brine to get a lot of flavors and moisture into the bird, but we decided to do a dry brine, and what that means is just lathering it in a medium coarse sea salt all over the bird, in every little crevice that you can possibly get it in. Then we're going to put it into our fridge. For overnight is the best. If you don't have that much time, at least 2 hours will do. But if you can get that full 24 hours in, it's gonna be delicious. Let's get our chicken out that has been in the fridge overnight. Let her sit out for at room temperature. Let's prep our rub for the chicken and our veggies that are gonna go with the chicken. We're gonna start with a half teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1 teaspoon of fennel seed, 1 tablespoon of whole black peppercorns, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and we're gonna zest 1 lemon. Now we grind them together. In another small bowl, we're going to take a very hefty 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme leaves, and we're going to add 4 tablespoons of softened butter. All right, and we're just going to mix that butter with the fresh thyme. Now let's prep our vegetables. We're gonna take our potatoes and quarter them. I'm using a nice golden potato. And I did peel them because someone in this house likes them peeled. Also, after I peeled my potatoes, I like to put them in a little bath of ice water and let them sit for about 30 to 45 minutes. I also sliced up 2 carrots. Now we're just gonna season our vegetables with some salt, fresh cracked black pepper, and olive oil. Now it's time to prepare our bird. Let's take our little chicken out, put him on a nice plate. The reason why we dry brined our chicken is because we really are looking for a nice crispy skin. So it doesn't need any salt on the outside because it is pretty covered. You don't need to wash it off or anything, but inside in the cavity, we're going to add a good amount of salt as well because we want to make sure everything is seasoned in there. Nice. And at this stage, we're also going to add a few more ingredients inside your chicken to give it a great, lots of different flavors. One of those ingredients is 4 whole cloves of garlic. We're just gonna put that right in there. We're also gonna take that lemon that we zested earlier. We're gonna cut that in half and stick that in there as well. We're also gonna take a big bunch of thyme. Next step is we're gonna take that herbed butter that we made and we're gonna put it underneath that skin. So before you do that, you wanna make sure that it's all loose, that the skin doesn't tear, but lifts from the meat. So let's take some of that butter and we're gonna rub it in there. Now from the other side to get into the wings. And she got all that butter in there. Pull that skin back down. Now it's time for that dry rub. Just gonna sprinkle it over on top, and then we're gonna rub it all around. Don't forget the other side. You wanna make sure you're getting every little crevice. So we're gonna flip our chicken over. Hold up those legs, tuck in those wings on the sides. Preheat your oven to 425. And now it's time to get out our roasting pan, and we're gonna add some olive oil to the bottom. I have 2 onions that I've sliced into discs, and I'm gonna lay them on the bottom. First I'm gonna coat them. Amazing. I'm gonna sprinkle a little salt. Now gently lift up your bird and put it on top of those onions. Nice. Now we're gonna take some sprigs of rosemary and nestle them on the sides. Put it there. Then we're gonna take those potatoes and carrots that we tossed in oil and seasoned earlier and put that all around. Our oven has reached its temperature, our chicken has reached room temperature, and we're ready to start cooking. We're gonna cook it at 425 for about 20 minutes. See, when we start seeing that skin get nice and crisp up, and then we're going to lower the temperature to 375 and continue cooking it. Could take around 40 minutes, maybe another hour. Really depends on the size of your bird. This is a pretty big guy here, so let's put it in. Make sure it has plenty of room in there. Put it down lower in your oven, and see you later. Time for some vino.
The wine we're drinking today, it's a favorite in our house, and it's called the Nebbiolo. Nebbiolo, this name comes from the word nebbia, which in Italian means fog, because the land where this specific grape variety comes from, it's a very foggy one.
The Langhe.
Not necessarily. We've been in the Langhe, and we've been to the Langhe together, and we can testify that it's a very, very foggy location. Yeah, we were on top of a little hill, and we couldn't see anything because we were in the middle of a very, very thick fog. It's a magic land that we love with our whole heart. Nebbiolo is the great base of very famous and acclaimed red Italian wines. Barolo, Barbaresco, Gattinara, Roero, Nebbiolo d'Alba, Langhe Nebbiolo. There are different categories of these Nebbiolo and different vinifications. The wine we're drinking today is Langhe Nebbiolo. And here we can talk a second about this beautiful land and about this territory. The 2 most prestigious red Italian wines produced in Piemonte are Barolo and Barbaresco. Barolo and Barbaresco are produced in a smaller area of Piedmont called Langhe, and that's exactly where this Nebbiolo comes from. So my question, and I've always been very curious about this, I wonder why somebody that has land in this specific area and can produce Barolo and Barbaresco is gonna bottle its wine as Nebbiolo. The reasons are multiple. During my research, I understood some of them. I couldn't really grasp the meaning of this differentiation, so I called my great brother friend Matthias, and he explained me the reason why the Nebbiolo from the Langhe exists, basically. Reason number one, the quality of the grapes. Often the winemaker, the producer, take a look at the grape ripening and decided not beautiful enough to go into production of Barolo and Barbaresco. So he decided to produce easier, fresher, younger wine and bottle the wine as Nebbiolo. Reason number two, cash flow. Nebbiolo can be bottled and sold a year after it's harvested, so it doesn't have to respect all the disciplinary that come for the Barolo and the Barbaresco. That means fermentation, that means refinement for years and years in oak barrels, and can be put to the market right away. The areas. One of the most famous example is the sun exposure or the composition of the soil in terms of potassium, magnesium and other metals. So some area where the vine is positioned, let the winemaker decide to produce the wine and leave it as a Nebbiolo and not as a more prestigious Barolo or Barbaresco. Reason number four is the density of the plants in the vineyard. The Nebbiolo can produce a higher yields. That means the plants can be more concentrated in the vineyard. Contrary to the Nebbiolo that has to go into Barolo and Barbaresco standards, has to be more sparse, and the production of the vineyard has to respect certain maximum that cannot go beyond. So also the quantity of the production is a very big aspect when a producer have to decide if to dedicate its vineyard to just Nebbiolo or to go a step over into Barolo and Barbaresco. This is just to say that everything considered, we are drinking a bottle of Nebbiolo that comes from a same super restricted area of Barolo and Barbaresco production. We decided to pair this bottle with our chicken because you saw it's an extremely rich, roasted, greasy, battery kind of recipe. Nebbiolo is supposed to help us with some strong tannins because it's one of the characteristics of the wine. I am very, very happy to drink again a bottle from Oddero, the producer that we know very well, and we are ready to open this bottle. Yes! Look at this cute little glasses she got.
Cheers.
Usually it's like, boom.
Oh, it's like a gong.
Like a gong from a...
Ding, ding, ding. Like a triangle, like the little triangle.
Thank you, Piemonte.
Always thank you, Piemonte. Once you've gotten all your veggies and chicken out of your roasting pan, we're not gonna throw this away. We're gonna make a nice little pan sauce. So take this over. We're going to take all of those juices and fat and try to scrape all of those little bits. We're going to put the heat about medium high. We're gonna add a half a cup of white wine and just let it bubble and let that wine reduce down. Once you start to see it thicken and kind of feel it thicken up with that whisk, we're gonna take it off the heat. Now with the flame off, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of cold butter. Incorporate that.
Have
you ever been to Medieval Times?
I've never been. What is it?
medieval times?
Yeah.
It's like a dinner and a show where all the like horse jousting people, and you have your own team, like you're blue or red or checkered or something.
No, I've never been to that.
One time I got called out by the knight that won, and I got to be the princess that went up into the balcony with the king and queen.
Are you kidding me?
No.
This is the cheesiest thing I ever heard in my whole entire existence.
Yeah.
Okay, what am I doing with this? I'm gonna use my hands.
Like an animal?
Yeah.
Animale. Gonna eat a carrot. All right, whatever. Medieval times and it up. Wow. Very moist. Super moist inside. Alrighty. This is delicious.
Delicious.
And it'll feed us for the rest of the week.
Delicious.
Every bone is going into a broth.
Onion.
Oh yeah. These potatoes and carrots are delicious too. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for notifications on future videos. And have a lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Make a bone broth with the bones. That sounds terrible. Delicious.